I haven't flown solo at one of these in a while, so I don't even know what to call this. Like mini screenings, midnight screenings, quickie, or whatever. So I went to go see Keeping Up with the Joneses. If you don't know what this is, I guess a lot of people didn't because it didn't do very well last weekend. This is a movie that hasn't even been out for a week. I'm here seeing this on a Tuesday night, and I was the only one in the theater. It wasn't even in one of the smaller theaters either. Actually, it's the same theater where the last movie I saw here was Hillsong, and I was the only one in that theater too, but I kind of expected that. But I guess I'm the only one in Springfield who apparently is here to keep up with the Joneses. Maybe it's my name, I don't know. I'm instantly leery of any movie that begins with either keeping up with, meet the, or did you hear about? And this movie really didn't change my mind on that. So the plot of this movie is that Zach Galifianakis and Isla Fisher play a suburban husband and wife. The kids are away for the summer, so they just kind of live this boring life on a cul-de-sac. He works at a defense agency. She designs bathrooms. So they're just kind of enjoying the summer without the kids. And then Gal Gadot and Jon Hamm move in next door. There's something that seems a little off about the couple, like they seem too perfect and too cool. And it turns out that they're spies. Really, I don't even have to go through all the plot of this movie. You can honestly just watch the trailer because that'll show you everything you need to know about this film. There's really not much in the way of surprises in this because seeing this trailer, and I'm at movies every single week, so I got this trailer a bunch of times, and it's one that you can tell they just showed you everything about the movie. I feel like I could have reviewed this film before having even seen it. The trailer clearly shows every single act of the film. It shows that they suspect them of being spies. It turns out they are, but they're not bad guys, they're good guys. And then they use the married couple for this undercover sting. Look, I mean, the movie, even if you haven't seen the trailer, this isn't exactly going to be an unpredictable film. I mean, hell, the movie itself doesn't really hold any surprises as you're watching it. It shows you right from the beginning that they're spies, but when you can visibly see in your head all the acts happening as they happen or before they happen because of the trailer, like, that's bad. This is a trailer that it should have really just shown you kind of the first act of the movie. They suspect them of being spies. Are they? I guess they are. That would be like if you did a trailer for The Burbs and it showed you every single act of the movie, including the resolution at the end. And honestly, another reason why I don't even know the point of watching this, not that it's one of the worst movies I've seen of the year by any means, but it's pretty bad. But even if it were just mediocre, it's like, why even bother saying go out and see this in the theater when there are much better movies you could be watching, like The Burbs? This is a lot like The Burbs. It's The Burbs if you crossed it with Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Only if you took The Burbs, you added spies to it like that. But you took out, like, the memorable characters, a lot of the really dark humor of The Burbs, quotable lines, a lot of really good humor. The whole time, I was like, man, I just want to be watching The Burbs. Largely, too, because I'm pretty sure they filmed this on the same cul-de-sac. Like, it looks fucking identical. I mean, I will say that there's decent things I could say about the movie. The acting isn't bad. They collected a good set of actors for this film that, man, they deserve much better than this. Like, Gal Gadot and Jon Hamm could really be in their own, like, much darker Mr. and Mrs. Smith type movie. They could. Not in this. Like, they're wasted in this. Like, this is something that should be starring, like, Luke Bracey and Olivia Munn. Not Jon Hamm. My God, like, Jon Hamm should be, like, in, like, A-plus action movies or superhero films or, like, Oscar contenders. Not this. And, I mean, it is something saying, like, you could see everything happening because of the trailer given that a lot of jokes that were in the trailer are either alternate takes or just not in this movie, but yet it still like gives everything away. I mean, that's a hugely predictable trailer. I really don't think they had much faith in this movie. Like, okay, let's show the audience really everything about the movie. They'll know right away if they like it or not. And I guess not a lot of people liked it based on the trailer, because not a lot of people went to go see this. I mean, I did like seeing Zach Galifianakis playing a more toned down character than we're used to seeing him. Like, yeah, a lot of the humor in this is dependent on him and his reactions to things, but he's not doing that like ridiculous accent like in Masterminds, or his really over the top character like in The Hangover or Due Date, which works fine in The Hangover and Due Date. In this, I liked seeing him a lot more toned down, like John Belushi and like Neighbors, only again that was a much better movie. I did get a couple of laughs out of this. I got laughs out of seeing like Zach Galifianakis his character trying to be as cool as Jon Hamm, whether it was like casual trying to put his arm around his wife in the same way Jon Hamm is with Gal Gadot, only he's not as like James Bond cool as Jon Hamm. I liked there's a scene where Jon Hamm just straight up opens a beer bottle with his bare hand. Zach Galifianakis tries doing the same thing and it just slices his hand open. I liked when they took him to this snake bar that serves only snake. It was funny seeing this kind of quiet suburban dude react to like cobras in the liquor and a live snake being chopped up and cooked in front of him. Some of that I got a chuckle out of, but a lot of the jokes are just kind of there to be jokes, and that's about it. I wonder how much of this movie kind of got reshot and stuff inserted here and there, because there's scenes where the actor's hair are a little longer than in some other sequences. Like Jon Hamm's hair in the Cobra Club scene was noticeably longer than it is in the rest of the movie. I don't know if that was something that was just reshot later and put into the movie. Also, what I mean is when jokes are there just to kind of be jokes, it just, that's it. It's there for something silly to happen, and it's not really followed up on. There's a scene earlier in the film where Galifianakis and Fisher are having sex and they got candles around them, and then they're accidentally kicking some of the candles over, and then they look up and their like entire bedroom is on fire. And that's not followed up on at all. The fact that a room in their house just caught fire. Apparently this was fixed really quick. Same with putting their bedroom back together, I guess, because it is not mentioned in the next scene or anywhere else in the movie. Even the cut on his hand from opening the bottle, it's like that's just not there through the rest of the film. So the gags are just there to be gags, and they come and go. There's really not much consequence to all that stuff. The Joneses are also just really bad spies. They're constantly doing spy shit just out in the open, in front of their neighbors, in front of their neighbors' party guests. Even when Galifianakis and Fisher break into the Joneses' house, they just have all of their spy gear just sitting out in the open for them to find. The only thing in the movie that is any kind of surprise was just like, there's a cameo at the end when it finally shows who the big bad is in the film. And that was interesting in the sense that this actor and Galifianakis, honestly, like, could have been switched. Either one could have played either role perfectly fine. At the end of the day, the movie's just, I just didn't laugh that much in it. I got a couple of belly laughs and a couple chuckles. That was it. These actors certainly deserve far better than this movie. This is from the director of Superbad, and that was a very funny movie, and that director deserves better than this. It's just forgettable. That's it. I like being here to support Jon Hamm in movies, because goddamn Jon Hamm needs to be in more movies, but not this. This is the kind of movie where I could easily say, like, oh sure, pop it up on Netflix, but again, why do that when you could watch The Burbs or Neighbors with John Belushi, or Mr. and Mrs. Smith, or anything like that. So it's the kind of, but I got a couple of chuckles out of it. So I guess if you need to throw on something on Netflix just to have on the background, maybe you're working on the laptop or doing some stuff around the house, sure, why not? But it's not worth seeing in theaters. It's not worth going out to rent or anything like that. Once tomorrow comes around, I'm probably gonna forget that I saw this movie. So that's Keeping Up with the Joneses. Coming up, we've got, I think the only thing that's coming out here is Inferno tomorrow. So we're gonna be at Inferno. There is a Christian movie that's coming to Springfield this weekend. It's not, I'm not ashamed. I do hope that comes to Springfield because I do want to review it. But there is another one that I'll try to see next week. So I'll see you guys later.